Two People's Liberation Army Navy ships sail into Hong Kong, embarking a 5-day port call with open to public events. The pilot of the small plane crashing into Beijing's tallest building last week has long suffered from anxiety, according to authorities. And 4 people die in Mexico City amid chaotic and crowded World Cup celebrations. Good evening, you're watching Cable News. I'm Jeremy Zhu. Two People's Liberation Army Navy ships Nanning and Hengyang arrived at Stonecutters Island this morning at the start of a 5-day port call, giving residents a chance to see the warships up close. Chief Executive John Lee said he felt the nation's security is solid as a rock. Evelyn Bai reports.
At about 8 a.m., guided missile destroyer Nanning and guided missile frigate Hengyang entered Victoria Harbour through Lei Moon. Residents and tourists gather along the harbourfront to catch a glimpse of the vessels. A retired Navy serviceman says seeing the ships brought back memories of former comrades, adding that he still feels attached to the warships. With naval officers waving from the decks, Hengyang and Nanning berthed at Ngongxun Chao Barracks one after another. Chief Executive John Lee, Director of Beijing's Liaison Office in Hong Kong, Zhou Ji, district councillors and secondary school students greeted the officers on board. A secondary school student said being able to board the ships and see equipment such as guns made him feel the country's development was truly strong, giving him a sense of security. Kowloon City District Councillor Rizman Ullah said the visit offered students a valuable chance to learn about national development outside the classroom. Lee said the port call showed how the nation highly values, cares for, and supports Hong Kong. He added that it will demonstrate the country's defense capabilities and help foster patriotism among youngsters. Both vessels, making their first visit to Hong Kong, will be open to the public this weekend, with 14,000 appointment slots available. Evelyn Bai, Cable News.
Commenting on the deadly Taipo fire, Security Chief Chris Tang said it is still too early to determine whether the Fire Services Department neglected its duties or should be held responsible. He reiterated that enhanced measures have been rolled out since the tragedy, including plans to deploy mainland fire services personnel for future firefighting operations. Cheryl Yun reports.
Speaking to reporters, Tang outlined several follow-up actions, including strengthened inspections and prosecutions targeting buildings and housing estates across the city, amendments to the Fire Services Ordinance, and the expansion of the Fire Services Emergency Hotline capacity. When asked whether the Fire Services Department should be held responsible for failing to identify fire safety risks at Wang Fuk Court during previous inspections, Tang said no conclusion should be drawn until the independent committee releases its report. He stressed that the chief executive had made it clear anyone found responsible would be held accountable. At the same time, Tang reiterated that fire services personnel had done their best in the circumstances, even though there was room for improvement. Apart from internal reforms, Tang said work is underway to strengthen emergency rescue cooperation with the Greater Bay Area. Tang noted that differences in systems, firefighting equipment, and language between Hong Kong and the mainland still need to be addressed. Authorities are working to remove these obstacles so that mainland fire trucks can enter the city to assist in firefighting operations when necessary. Cheryl Yun, Cable News.
As the standby signal number 1 remains in force at least until noon tomorrow, the observatory will monitor the storm's development to determine if an upgrade to the strong wind number 3 signal is required. Conditions at Central Pier have remained calm with only a light breeze and tranquil seas. According to the current forecast, the tropical depression is expected to intensify while moving towards Hainan Island, keeping a distance of at least 500 kilometers from the territory. Despite this distance, winds are forecast to strengthen over offshore waters and high ground as the weather becomes unsettled with frequent squally showers. The observatory will continue to track the cyclone's intensity and its proximity to the Pearl River estuary before making a decision on the upgrade. Regarding the match-fixing scandal, the president of Supreme Football Club, Jim Wong, said its head coach, Lo Kwang-yi, has been suspended temporarily, and he hoped the public would refrain from wild speculation. Evelyn Bai has more.
This morning, members of the Supreme Football Club resumed training as usual, though the prominent coach Lo was absent. Wong went on the field instead. Last week, the Independent Commission Against Corruption and Police jointly arrested 19 people as part of a major crackdown on an illegal bookmaking ring within football. Speaking pitchside, Wong expressed his personal trust in Lo, but confirmed the temporary suspension was a necessary step to weather the current storm. He expressed hope that the public do not just read the headlines and jump to conclusions, as the official announcements did not mention any clubs or members' names. He highlighted his club's triumphs, notably their First Division championship title last year. The club earlier said in a statement that it has a strict zero-tolerance stance toward match manipulation and illegal gambling. Furthermore, Wong denied claims that he had been taken away by the police or the ICAC for questioning, revealing that legal letters have already been dispatched to media outlets spreading misinformation. The club is currently looking for a new head coach, with an announcement expected as soon as possible. Evelyn Bai, Cable News.
Chinese authorities identified the pilot who crashed his plane into Beijing's tallest building last week, saying he had long suffered from anxiety. The district government released a statement concluding the incident as a case of endangering public safety caused by personal reasons. Investigations found the 66-year-old local resident, surnamed Liu, had long-term insomnia and anxiety, and his diary contained repeated references to ending his life. He took off alone and left the designated operating area before the aircraft hit the CITIC Tower, killing himself and injuring 13 people on ground. The death toll from the massive earthquake in Venezuela has climbed to nearly 2,300, with over 11,000 injured. The nation has begun a 7-day period of mourning. Meanwhile, 4 police officers have been arrested on suspicion of looting cash in the disaster zone. Online footage shows uniformed officers in La Guaira, one of the hardest hit states, attempting to walk away with a bag of cash discovered in the rubble of a collapsed apartment complex. When confronted by angry residents who accused them of preying on victims, a standoff ensued. During the altercation, a woman grabbed the bag from the officers and tore up a significant amount of money. The police force has since issued a statement confirming the arrest and suspension of the 4 officers. Authorities condemned the act. Following 2 magnitude 7 earthquakes on June 24th, the region has been rocked by over 780 aftershocks. International rescue teams and search dogs continue to work through the wreckage. However, conditions in La Guaira are grim. Reports describe the air being heavy with the smell of decay. With a lack of heavy machinery, locals are often forced to clear debris by hand or with makeshift tools. Frustrations are mounting as many residents praise foreign aid workers while accusing local officials of standing by. Critics have also alleged that security forces have obstructed aid deliveries and donations. The government has dismissed these claims as misinformation, insisting that 30,000 personnel have been mobilized for search and relief operations, and urged the public to remain confident in the state's response. Mexico's celebration of advancing to the World Cup round of 16 turned into tragedy after 4 people died, 3 of asphyxiation amid massive street parties in Mexico City. Cheryl Yun tells us more.
Excited Mexican fans poured onto the streets to cheer on their national team, which advanced to the round of 16 after defeating Ecuador 2-0 on Tuesday. Fireworks lit up the sky as an estimated 1.4 million people crowded the streets to celebrate the country's first World Cup knockout round win in 40 years. Local news outlets reported that the pyrotechnics caused panic, with people starting to run and some falling and being trampled. Some climbed onto parked trucks just to get some space from the packed scene. 3 people aged 48, 44 and 19 respectively were found unconscious on the streets near the iconic Angel of Independence monument. Authorities said they died of asphyxiation. A 30-year-old man also died after suffering an epileptic seizure and later succumbing to cardiorespiratory arrest in hospital. Mexico City Mayor Clara Brugada called on the public to celebrate responsibly, carefully and with empathy. Mexico City had in recent weeks banned alcohol sales in Mexico match days, as well as increased the number of screens and the space between them in an attempt to improve safety. President Claudia Sheinbaum said the authorities would evaluate whether changes needed to be made ahead of Mexico's last 16 match against England on Sunday. Cheryl Yun, Cable News.
A Russian couple has been arrested after climbing the very top of 443-meter-high Empire State Building in New York City before getting engaged. Evelyn Bai reports.
2 masked individuals unfurled a large black banner at the tip of the skyscraper's needle that read, "When the power of love beats the love of power, the world knows peace." They were atop the building for at least 10 minutes before descending to a lower platform on the tower without any visible safety equipment. The man, who goes by Ivan Birkas, dropped down to one knee and appeared to propose to the woman, identified as Angela Nicolau. They embraced, and Nicolau removed her mask before they kissed. They were posting to social media while at the top, including a shot of the engagement ring with the city in the background. Police later responded to the scene, taking into custody the couple, who are facing charges including burglary, reckless endangerment, and criminal mischief. The daredevil rooftoppers are the subjects of the 2024 documentary Skywalkers, A Love Story. They often post at the top of various buildings and tall structures, including Hong Kong's iconic Tsing Ma Bridge. Evan Bai, Cable News.
Hong Kong's retail sector has exceeded market expectations for the month of May. The total value of retail sales in May climbed by 7.9% year-on-year, marking the 13th consecutive month of growth. By category, the jewelry, watches, and clock sector saw a standout performance, recording a significant increase of 25.8%. Sales of electrical goods and other consumer durable goods also rose by 13%. However, the value of fuel sales fell by more than 12% year-on-year. A government spokesperson said ongoing economic expansion, rising labor earnings, and increased visitor arrivals should continue to benefit the retail sector. The government added it remains vigilant to how external uncertainties might affect local consumption. Sony is discontinuing physical discs for its PlayStation video game consoles and going fully digital starting in January 2028. As digital offerings increase, many consumers are moving away from physical media. Sony said in response to shifting trends, new games will be released on PlayStation Store and at retailers in digital formats only. This transition has no impact on games that are already released or will be releasing prior to January 2028 in disc format. The announcement comes ahead of the digital-only release of Grand Theft Auto 6, which analysts expect will be the most lucrative entertainment industry launch ever. U.S. research showed video game players spent $1.5 billion in 2025 on new physical video games, the lowest amount in 30 years. Now let's take a look at the stock market. The Hang Seng Index ended the day up 174 points. Top active stocks of the day. Tracker Fund was up 22 cents. Tencent was up 40 cents. SMIC was down $9 and Alibaba was up $1.65. Onto the weather now. Mainly cloudy with a few squally showers and thunderstorms. Showers will increase gradually tomorrow and it will be heavier in some areas later. That's our news tonight. I'm Jeremy Zhu. Thanks for watching and good night.